Manny MUA is getting called out for stealing smaller influencers' content and using it as a means to make more sales for his own business. The nano influencer's content, who Manny allegedly used without her permission and had the audacity to make a shoppable link with, has come out on her social media to put Manny on blast for his low-effort strategy, and other people are also barging in, calling him out for being shady and scummy for this, so we've got to get into this. Last week, a smaller creator, we're talking someone with around 1,000 followers, who goes by the name Gabby, was reposted on Manny's beauty page, Lunar Beauty. Gabby had posted a video using Manny's Lunar Beauty palette, and now according to Gabby, Manny or his team ended up downloading Gabby's video and just flat out posted it on their page without her permission. But what makes the situation trashy in Gabby's eyes and many other people's eyes was how Manny or his team decided to create a shoppable link to his product with Gabby's video, all without her permission. Manny ended up taking this video down, but he pretty much threw shots at Gabby, saying that small creators should be happy that they even got reposted by someone like him or his brand that's pretty big, and that small creators should essentially just be thankful for the opportunity that they got reposted. However, that's just not how things work in this social media economy, at least not according to Gabby. She emphasizes how reposts mean nothing nowadays, especially when the small creator themselves put a lot of effort into their content and get pretty much nothing out of it in return except exposure without their consent to begin with. And she presents a lot more interesting points as to why she was upset Manny proceeded to post her video after she even went and DM'd him about this, but allegedly left being unread. But more on that in a bit. Now, after Gabby asked for compensation after she constantly DM'd Manny but was left unread, Manny did end up deleting the video days later, but he followed this situation with what many people thought was shade towards Gabby. It was clear he was talking about Gabby in this video, and people thought he was being even more shady with the way he was liking certain comments and responding to them under his TikTok. We'll get into Gabby's side of the story in a bit, but here's what Manny had to say. It seemed like he wanted to get ahead of the situation, and he captioned this TikTok, "Unsolicited advice with Gunkle Manny has a ring to it. LOL, just wanted to give little insight and advice for micro-influencers and anyone trying to become creators. Make those connections, baby."
This video is for micro-influencers and micro-influencers only, and anyone trying to become a creator. Maybe I'll make this a series, Unsolicited Advice with Gunkle Manny. Recently, I had this experience with my brand, and I thought it'd be really interesting to talk about this because I have one foot in each world. I'm a creator. I've been doing beauty content for 11 years, but I also have my own indie brand called Lunar Beauty, so I'm on the CEO brand world as well. Recently, it came to my attention that my brand had reposted someone's reel onto our brand page on Instagram, and that creator was very unhappy about it. Which I can absolutely understand. I already told my social girl, I'm like, girl, you gotta ask people's permission to repost their stuff. That's a conversation I had internally, and now everything should be good. CEO of Lunar Beauty, Manny, is like, absolutely. I took it down myself. I said, you know what? Big misunderstanding. But creator Manny has a different opinion. So let me just say that a lot of this business is built on connections. Sometimes those connections mean more than a check, or it will lead to a check, to a bag in some capacity. A lot of the times, a lot of indie brands cannot afford to sponsor or pay you for content a lot of the times, right? Like that's just the reality of life. They're smaller, the indie, they don't have the huge budgets that a lot of the bigger brands do have. But them sharing you and getting your face out there when you're first starting out can be really, really beneficial. For example, this creator, she had less than 2,000 followers, right? Which is nothing to scoff at, you know, like that's hard to get in this economy. It's hard to get. You know, my brand page has over 400,000 followers. Sometimes it really is worth to get your face out there, get your content out there, get shown to a makeup audience to potentially grow from there. It really is about kind of picking your battles. You know what I'm saying? Like if a brand takes your content, puts it on TikTok, puts paid ad behind it, babe, battle. Okay, like that's crazy, that's insane. But if a brand reposts your post, gives you proper credit, you know, it's not a bad thing. It really isn't. Back then, when I was a micro creator, I would tag every brand under the sun because I wanted to be seen. I wanted my content to be out there. I wanted them to share me, to make connections, to repost me. Even now to this day, at the level that I'm at right now, if a brand reposted my post, because I tagged them in it of a product I used, I wouldn't mind. Even with all that said, if you don't want your content reposted, reshared, that's totally fine. That's totally your prerogative, and that is your right, 1000%. I'm just trying to show you guys another perspective as someone who does have a brand, but someone who's also a content creator and knows that the connections that are made, or like getting your name out there, the visibility of who you are out there, are so important, sometimes more important than, you know, $50 for some UGC.
Manny also goes on to say that he thinks it's important for people to understand his point of view being a CEO of his company, but like I said, social media just doesn't function how it did back in the good old days in 2015, which it seems like Manny's mind is still stuck in, where people would actually get some sort of reward out of their content being reposted by someone bigger than them, whether it be through the smaller creator getting more followers, more engagement, etc. That didn't end up happening with Gabby. And when Manny mentioned the idea of exposure and how the smaller creators should just be grateful, people were just like, which exposure is he talking about? Taking a glimpse over at his beauty brand's Instagram page and looking at the engagement on there, and I'll let you guys make the judgment for yourself if you think this amount of exposure is one that smaller creators would be getting any exposure out of. Because no, just no. If it was like over at least 100,000 views that he's getting per Instagram reel, then I could see that as somewhat of a win, but if you're getting less than 10,000 views on your page and you're preaching about exposure like this, no, just no. Like, I get Manny was big back in the day, but he's really just not all that hype that he had back many years ago. So that part of his little TikTok rant was just not cutting it for people. Under his TikTok, Manny was also liking a lot of comments that seemingly insinuated that Gabby should have been grateful that she even got reposted by him. He was liking comments where people were saying, "The first time Lunar Beauty reposted me, I cried. Baby, we're not the same. Ha ha ha." He was very specific with the comments that he was liking that were basically siding with him, saying how small creators should just be grateful that they got reposted, even though he did it without her permission. He liked and responded to this comment that said, "I agree 100%. When I used to be a makeup artist and used Lunar Beauty, you liked one of my posts, and by just being seen meant the world to me." Someone else commented, "Say it with me, exposure doesn't pay the bills." And Manny responded, "I couldn't agree more, but the content is already posted. This is a repost." And he also liked this comment, which people thought was shady, where someone said, "I just don't understand why people would be unhappy with free exposure, SMH." Now, personally, I can get Gabby's frustration in this situation, as Manny's brand didn't really build a relationship with her prior to reposting her content. This was when Gabby saw Manny's video on his page, and she ended up making a response video. Gabby states that it wasn't even about money at the end of the day or being compensated for her video, but more so about the mannerisms and how Manny or his team approached the situation, how it felt like he was pretty much just ripping off her content and trying to profit off of it, and she felt it wasn't morally right.
I've been following Manny since 2014, 2013, somewhere around there, so I've been a fan for a long time. What Manny didn't tell you is that I did try many times to reach out to the brand, have a conversation. I was not asking for payment right off the bat. That's not how it happened. I would have been happy to get reposted without compensation. I honestly am not here mainly to make money. This is not something that I do for a living. I really just wanted to have a conversation. I've been tagging the brand for years, ever since Manny came out with his brand. I've been talking about it, sharing about it, simply a conversation. I have been reposted by brands bigger than Manny, smaller than Manny, and they have all asked for permission. I think that is a basic 101 social media etiquette. But what made this truly bothersome was that after many attempts to reach out, they left me on red. I get that maybe you open a message and it gets lost in the mix and then you don't remember who you did not reply. It was a Friday, so I said, okay, let me give them the weekend. Maybe on Monday they'll get back to me. They did not. And on top of that, what really was bothering me is that the post was made shoppable. Here in this video, he went on and talked about making connections, make relationships with the brands. But how can I make a connection with a brand that leaves me on red many times? So I am trying to build relationships. I am trying to choose my battles. I have put my work out there for free in exchange for anything. A repost nowadays doesn't mean much. From almost the 500,000 followers that account has, it did not translate into any amount of engagement for my account. no likes, no new followers, nothing.
Gabby brought up how some people are also just fine with being UGC creators, which for those who don't know is basically where a brand sends a creator their product for them to make content and a review for their product on their social media page, regardless of how many followers they have. And Gabby says that some people just simply want to be UGC creators and don't want to be involved in this type of situation where they want other influencers or content creators using their video or like ripping them off or something. As opposed to just being reposted with no financial gain, UGC creators are actually getting paid for the conscious decision they make to promote a brand and film and edit the content for them behind the scenes and everything. So they really see their content as valuable and they don't really want anyone reposting it without their permission, and especially making a shoppable link out of their video, which I can also understand that perspective. Under Gabby's video, many people sent her support, saying things like, "Yes, girl, preach. Social media is not the same as it used to be, and many brands now rely on these small content creators instead of hiring photographers, advertising companies, etc." The sticking point for me is the brand put a shopping link on your content on their page. If Lunar used your content with a shopping link, you deserve a cut of profit. Other people gave their thoughts on the situation, saying things like, "Also, you're right. Reposts don't help my account anymore. Agreed. Same thing happened to me with Dominique Cosmetics, except for the shoppable link. I tried reaching out via IG, commenting, and was ignored too." Gabby responded and said, "This happens every single day. It's so frustrating. Literally, I've gained zero from a huge brand reposting my content. I'm sure they made money off of my posts though. When you say the exposure makes me laugh, yes, Manny didn't have the same kind of experience as creators do now." Anyways, guys, this has been the situation between Manny MUA and this micro-influencer, or should I say nano-influencer, speaking out against him, and many other people giving their thoughts on the situation regarding the use of smaller creators' content and bigger brands ripping them off. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to know your thoughts. I love you guys so much, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.